千里之行，始于足下。A journey of 1,000 miles begins beneath the feet. We now gather in the Tao to travel the journey together. Welcome to Tao Talks with Derek Lin, where we take a deep dive into the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu. I would like to extend a warm welcome to you. Thank you for joining us. I would like to invite you to center your thoughts and direct your attention to this moment in time, to the here and now, to be fully present and mindfully aware as we all ready ourselves for this sacred process in the Tao with one another. A mini summary starting with the first 2 points. So the first one is mindful awareness. This is just another way to describe being like someone walking across a frozen river. You must be aware, you must be mindful of every step that you take. So here's the quick summary for that. Like someone walking across a frozen river, the ancient masters lived mindfully with careful steps. The ancient masters, the masters of antiquity, they knew where they were in life and where they were going. And this awareness kept them on solid ground. So I mentioned that we started with hesitance as a description, meaning a careful approach to life. This applies equally to you and me, not just to Lao Tzu. When you're about to cross a wide frozen river, it is especially important to have a sense of how far you have left one shore and how much more to go. And as I mentioned a few slides ago, this is analogous to knowing where you are in your life journey. Where have you come from in this journey of yours? And where are you going? Number 2, conscientious, like being watched by 4 neighbors. And this is about behaving as if you are being monitored, even though you may not be. So the ancient masters were consistent in words and action. That is, whatever they preached, they also practiced. And they did so regardless of setting or circumstance. They were trusted by everyone because of it. They had this absolute integrity that people trusted. And this is all about your own conscience as well. It is literally true that your conscience is always watching you. Let us continue with this mini summary for the next 2 characteristics. Number 3, dignified. This one is about having a solemn and serious attitude, like being a guest of honor for an important visit. The ancient masters understood the importance of social protocols, so they were always polite and composed. In Mandarin, the word for polite or politeness is 客气. 2 characters. The first one is guest. The second one is energy. So guest energy is politeness. This is definitely something that one will notice when visiting a Tao temple. People who study the Tao keep this in mind, so everybody observes propriety and etiquette. They're unfailingly courteous at all times. Number 4, personal warmth, like winter ice melted by the warmth of spring. The ancient masters were naturally caring and considerate. As individuals, they had this warmth. They seemed like the warm winds of spring to the people they come across. So this warmth could set even the most wary individuals at ease. So the imagery is about ice being melted, loosening up, breaking into pieces, flowing as water. And this was something that the ancients observed in every spring season. Now we can wrap up the mini summary with the last 3 characteristics. Number 5, genuine simplicity, like a plain piece of wood from the forest. The ancient masters prefer simplicity in all aspects of life. Out of that simplicity, they advocated doing just enough and no more to keep it simple. So this is the character Pu, the Pu principle, the plain piece of wood applied to life. Number 6, openness, like a valley that accommodates all. So several aspects about the valley. The valley is open. Like the open valley, the ancient masters welcomed all. Oftentimes, these ancient sages were sage rulers and therefore responsible for a large group of people, like the subjects of a kingdom. Next, the nurturing side. Like the fertile valley, the ancient masters were nurturing to all. They wanted people to grow, develop, and advance, not just themselves. The openness of the valley meant that the ancient masters benefited from diverse perspectives, different opinions that reveal yet another way or perhaps another solution to solve a particular problem. The nurturing nature of the ancient masters meant whatever knowledge or wisdom they develop, they would share freely with everyone. Lastly, I just want to remind everyone, in a previous chapter, we covered the valley spirit, which was also an important concept in the Tao. If you missed that coverage, it has been recorded in our YouTube channel. Number 7, be with people, like muddy water that one cannot see through. So remember, the muddiness of the water has a bunch of different layers of meaning. The ancient masters, they mixed with people to provide assistance. Muddiness is opaque. The ancient masters were opaque, but internally they had clarity. So this is one of the ways that we know that the hermit is only a stereotype about Tao sages. Real Tao sages from history were of the community, part of the community, within the community. They did not live far away from people because people would disrupt their peace. Far from it, they could be at peace, while in the middle of a bustling, busy community. They played a central role to provide help and advice. They were engaged with everyday living, involved with all the daily activities, just like everybody else. This is what it means to mix, to become muddy. Now, as I mentioned, despite being in that role to dispense advice, the ancient masters remained humble. And now we can bring all 7 characteristics together to summarize them in one slide. Now, of course, when we do that, we're going to be losing some details, but it's good for us to have the overview for all 7. We start out with mindful awareness. And now I think everybody can keep in mind easily this whole visual of somebody crossing a bridge, not a bridge, a river that has been frozen over. And the reason why ancient masters and Lao Tzu himself all leaned heavily on visual imagery is because it is a very easy way for us to recall these Tao concepts. Number 2, conscientious, like being watched by 4 neighbors. So behaving as if you are being watched, even when you are not. So in that way, you can be consistent and true to your own virtues. Number 3, dignified. This is about Te Qi. This is about guest energy, the politeness, the courtesy, being a guest at an important visit. This is all about being formal, following protocol, having that social graces. Number 4, personal warmth, like winter ice melted by the warmth of spring. So Tao cultivators, Tao sages are not cold-hearted or cold by nature or demeanor. They're friendly, they're approachable, they're warm. Number 5, genuine simplicity, plain piece of wood from the forest. You never have to second guess the sage. A real sage is not cryptic like the stereotype, speaking puzzles or riddles. Then you have to figure it out. A real sage will simply tell it like it is. Number 6, openness, the valley, the recurring image, accommodating everybody, nurturing the myriad things. And finally, number 7, muddy water, be with the people like muddy water that one cannot see through. The muddiness means there's a lot more to you that people cannot readily discern. So here we have all 7 characteristics of the ancient masters in one slide. When we put it together like this, there is something interesting that we can also see, a pattern. Here's what it looks like. First, I draw a line bisecting the slide, top to bottom. So there's a top half and there's a bottom half. On the top half, there's mindful awareness, being conscientious, there's genuine simplicity and openness. What do all of these have in common? These are all speaking to the approach to life. This is talking about how the Tao masters of antiquity approach life. They lived with mindful awareness. They followed their conscience to do the right thing. They lived the simple life with an attitude of openness to all. This is how they lived. And I would suggest for you and me, this is how we should live the top half. What about the bottom half? There's dignified personal warmth, being with people. The bottom half is all about interactions with people. It's the second major category that pull together 3 out of the 7 characteristics. The ancient masters treated people with respect and courtesy. They set people at ease with their warmth and kindness, coming out of a place of compassion. They remain humble while being involved in the community, helping people but not placing them above the people. So this is another way to look at the 7 characteristics of the ancient masters with a division of 2 major categories. Our meeting has come to an end, but the journey continues on. Until next time, may the Tao fill you with peace and happiness.